Hello and welcome to the live weekly flower readings. This week, I'm Susan Jane, your host for this. And this week, we've all just had the full moon, or the full moon sort of right happening now, or was last night anyway. So when we talk about the full moon, we talk about, as I've explained to you before, I used to do planting by the moon cycles. So that's what I'm looking at this week. We look at the collective first, and that's what I will do this week. And then after that, we'll do some free flower readings. Now, to get your free flower reading, all you need to do is intuitively pick a number between 1 and 100, and I will bring up the flower that associates with that number. Now, those numbers, the flower images change on those numbers. So it's a little bit of you've got to use your intuition to really tune in. So welcome on board. Give me a hi or a like so I know that you're listening. And we will get started with what's happening with the moon's cycle this week. So as I said, we were on the full moon cycle, the full moon, last night. And that means we're heading into the waning gibbous. Now, when we look at the waning gibbous as far as planting our crops and everything else, we're looking at sowing the root crops this week. So if you were doing your gardening, you would be sowing crops for the roots. So we're looking at potatoes, anything that's under the ground, sweet potatoes, carrots, all those sort of things that grow under. Because the moonlight is now going to start to decrease and the soil starts to absorb. So all that energy is drawn down into the soil. So when we look at our goals as far as the flowers go, we start to look at our direction. Everything is all very, very grounded. We need to really get ourselves grounded in this and start to look at our direction. And when we do that in flower readings, we then start to go to our stem or our journey. So when we're looking at our stem, the flower stem, that's going to help highlight the journey that we need to take. So what I want you to look at or be aware of, if you're picking a flower today or you want a flower reading, be mindful that this is all about your direction. Now, when we head a little bit further in and we get a little bit more deep into it, we start to look at our, with the trust mastery, we start to look at our self-reliance, okay? We're really starting to get a lot more grounded here, and we need to have that understanding of who we are and what we're doing. So it's all about self-reliance this week. So if you can get some meditation in, some visualization, association and intuition. So that's what it's all about this week. So when we talk about meditation, it's about spending that time, giving yourself that time and that space to discover what you're about, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. It's all about that physical aspect of ourselves. What am I feeling? What am I information that's coming through? The other area we can look at in the mental aspect is visualization. So we're a bit more proactive in this way, where we're starting to go, okay, if this is my direction, this is where I'm going. Visualize it. Start to get into that mindset. You're going to be going that way. That's what this week is all about. As an energy draws down and finds that route, that journey, that direction that we're going, really visualize what that looks like. And it's not necessarily the step-by-step, but where you want to go, and the step-by-steps will come through you. When we look at our emotional aspects for the self-reliance in this full moon waning gibbous area, it's all about association. So the emotional side is about association. And this is where we need to increase those positive sources that we have. Now, a lot of this is to do with social media, especially we're here now on social media. So a lot of this has got to do with the social media aspect of it. So start looking at who you're following on social media, or even if you're not following, who's popping up on your news feed. And if they're not in line with who you are or what you're about, then hide those posts for a while. If you don't want to, stop being their friend, just hide those posts for a while. You don't have to take it all on board. If you feel like somebody's really jamming something down your throat, or you just happen to be noticing it, protect yourself. It's an emotional protection. Just hide those posts for a while, or jump into Facebook and stop following them. You can still be their friend, but not necessarily follow what they're doing. So there's ways that we can address that association that we have. And that's just on Facebook. And I'm saying Facebook because we're here on Facebook today. So that's that side. But when we look at our spiritual side for this week, say hi if you're on watching. When we look at our spiritual aspect for this week, we're looking at intuition. And intuition, because it's this energy is drawing down and we are absorbing this, we are getting our direction, we are finding our journey and our path this week. Intuition is that time to start to create those spiritual practices, when we start to understand what our spiritual gifts are. Now, when I am doing intuition training or when I'm helping people in the Trust Mastery program, I suggest that they try lots of different things. Try card readings, try flower readings, try doing different things that allow you to really tap into your intuition. Spirit healing, hands-on healing, Reiki, all those different things will help you tap in to that spiritual aspect of yourself, will help you to tap into your intuition. So this week, all about the full moon, and we're starting to go, well, we've hit the full moon and we're heading out now to the waning gibbous. So it's all about, if you're wanting to plant root crops at this stage, this week, we're looking at our direction. We need to be grounded. And then when we look at flower images, we're looking at the stem or the journey that it's going to take to achieve your flower goal. Okay, self-reliance is the Trust Mastery program, meditation, visualization, association, and intuition. How we're going to get through that for this week. So it's not a matter of doing everything all at once. It's taking out what you resonate with at this particular stage. So that is our weekly reading for the collective. Now we're going to get into, if I can move that. Hi guys. Oh, hi Thea. Oh, number 77. Well done. And I will do the live guys first. I'll do the readings for you guys first. I have got a little list of others that have jumped on earlier and want a reading. But yes, definitely, if you're on there, you will be getting your reading first. And I will show you what number 77 is all about. Okay, now we're looking again. I'm going to show you the picture first. Hey, share screen. We want you to see your image. So this is for Athea. Have I pronounced that right? Probably not, but you're number 77. So let me have a look at this. Okay, number 77. So we're talking about this week, because this is the weekly reading, we're talking about this week and we're sort of looking at our stem and our journey. It's all very, very grounded this week because that energy is being drawn in. Now, when we look at your image, this is and I'm not too sure where you are, but this is the eucalyptus flowers. So these are the gumnut flowers. We can see the little gumnut there starting to open up. Now, that area there is called the calyx because it's the protection before the flower actually opens. And then we have these open flowers here, or the blossom in this sort of case. So when we look at the stem and the journey for this particular goal, we're not actually seeing your stem or your journey. So what it's suggesting is that the path and the direction that you're taking you're on the right track. You're already there. You've already got that happening. And when we see all these types of flowers coming up, when we look at our flower goals, we sort of go, well, you've got lots of little goals happening here. There's some still ready to develop, ready to open up. And there's a lot that are already open, and you're actually attracting what you need to attract to achieve these goals. So the other aspect I can look at when we look at the image itself, when we know about the stem, because this is a tree. So your stem and your journey is suggesting that you are very, very well seated in the journey that you're going. You're very, very deep. You've got an understanding of it. You've got all those foundations put down. This is not a flimsy flower. This is not a little daisy that needs support or a climbing flower that needs support. This week for you, your path and journey is so strong and so set in its ways, only a cyclone will blow it over. And hopefully we're not due for any of those. So I would suggest for you this week that you're well and truly on track as far as your path or your direction goes. You're there. You're already happy. It's already happening. Your goals are already there. You've got a few new ones coming through. And because there's so many goals here, I would suggest you're probably looking at more of a group aspect. So if you were looking at a if you were looking at a situation where this was your business goal, then I would say you need to look at there's either group therapy type of aspect where you're working with a group, or there's lots of individuals. So you could be working for all those individuals and you're seeing those goals and those areas come through. If it was a different type of business, then I would say, or even family, then we look at, see, these are all family. They could be all family members, could be friends. So all of these types of goals, but wherever they are, they're all together and they're all coming from the same path and same direction. So with a group of flowers that we look at there, we say, well, they're all very, very like-minded. And in fact, this one is almost, you could go family. So if you were looking at relationships, I'd go, they were very close family relationships. So we've got all those different areas that we can look at. But as far as your path or journey goes, Athea, I think it is. Sorry if I do that wrong. I'm really bad with names. As far as your path or journey goes, mate, you are there. You are there. You are watching your goals blossom in front of you. So that one is yours. Now, if you do want a flower reading, just pick a number between 1 and 100 and I will bring up the flower. That was number 77. So hang on a minute. Grab a tissue because my nose is running. Now, I've got a couple of others that I have to do that I've put numbers in to start with. But if you do want a number, I will do the live ones first. So they will come up first. But you need to just tell me what number it is that you want. Oh, hello, I'm watching. And I had picked 11. Oh, so that is 11 is, hang on, I've got Belinda Smith. Right. Probably shouldn't say your name out loud. Sorry, Belinda. Okay, Belinda, you're next because you have got number 11. Now, your flower too. Now, remember, we're talking about, let me share it first. We're talking about this week is all about our path and our direction, really being grounded and getting an understanding of that. And look at your flower. I'm pretty sure I did this last week for you, Belinda, but obviously you need to have it again, or we need to look at it again. Okay, so for you, again, this is very similar to the last one I just read because it's a group. But the different aspect with yours is when we look at the path or journey, we know these flowers. Thank you. No worries. We know that these flowers grow on great big long stems, like what do they call canes? Great big long canes. The bougainvillea is huge long canes. So when we look at your path or your journey for this particular flower for this week, remember it's all about this week because that energy is being drawn in. We need to focus on our path or our journey. Again, we don't see your actual stem as well. We've got a little bit in here and a little bit there, but it's suggesting that your path or journey for this goal for this week is already there. Okay. The difference between yours and the eucalyptus tree that we just had, or the eucalyptus flowers, is the eucalyptus is a big tree. So that, can I pick it for my children? Yes, you can. Just pick a number between 1 and 100. And just give me a name if you like. But anyway, so the last one was the eucalyptus tree. So we're looking at stem and the journey. It was really, eucalyptus tree is really strong. It's really sound, and it's had that really good growth on it. When we look at the bougainvillea, they're more elongated. They're very, very long canes, and they will come from more of a cluster. So when we start to look at our goals and things like that, good morning. When we start to look at our goals and things like that, Belinda, what we're going to see is that you're going to have a lot of these ideas and thoughts and understandings of it. Now, when we look at this flower image again, the little white parts of the flowers, these are bracts. The lovely pink areas are the bracts. So we can turn around and say, well, your flower goals are not as important as what the attraction to it is for you. So if this was a business goal, and usually I like to ask you to give me a one-word goal. So it could be business, could be finance, could be relationships. So depending on what the goal is, this is saying that the goal isn't so important because that's quite small. We can see that. but there is a lot of them. However, the way to attract people or the way to attract what you need for your goal is very important, because that would be the big bucks out there. So what does that mean? That means that when we're looking at a path, or when we're looking at our path or our journey, I would say for you to take the next step in your path or your direction or your journey, which is already really there, but for you to take the next step, then you have to get an understanding of the other things that are happening, or you put it out there. You don't have to actually put out what your next or what your goal is, but you can put out what is appealing to you at the moment to attract the right thing. Now, I don't quite understand what that means or what that is for you, Belinda, but it's just saying your goal isn't as important as what it is that you're attracting along the journey, along the way. Okay. But again, path or journey isn't so relevant for you this week because we can't see much of it. All right. I hope that helps. Have a look back at last week's because it was slightly different for you last week. And that will be quite interesting for you. All right, so we'll stop sharing that one. And the next one is, can I pick for my children? Yes, you can. Good morning. Now, with the Facebook, with StreamYard, I can't see who you are unless you give StreamYard permission to use your face and your name. Otherwise, all I get is a Facebook user on my list. Now, I have got one here, 44 for them. For the next 5 years, will they settle in America? Okay, so this is about travel and journey. Obviously, we've got that this week. Perfect question to ask. Facebook user 44. Let's have a look at number 44. And this is for your family. So I'm imagining it's kids or baby relationship going together. 44, there you are. Okay, let's share. Come on, open up. Yep, let's share that for you. Share screen, and here is number 44. Okay, we can see the path and journey straight away. All right, now if these are for your children, they've got a big goal. They've got a lot of heart in their goal, but as we can see here, the path and the journey that they've got to take is going to have a lot of decisions to make. So when we have a path or a journey, when we have a stem, if you can imagine, say a rose will have one big long stem. When we've got a split in the stem, that means we've got a decision to make. And when we get to here, we've got a lot of decisions to make. And if you brought that up closer to you, you'll see that there's a lot of stems and a lot of activity happening here leading to the flower, to the goal. All right. So when we're saying that, I would be saying they're going to be getting a lot of guidance and support, which are the leaves, from people around them. And that's going to make them question themselves a little bit more. This is not an easy, the goal's easy, the goal's huge. Okay. Now I know who this for. Okay, so the goal is huge. The goal is they're very open, very passionate about their goal, whether it's a one family member, two family members, but there's a lot of decisions they're going to make. This is not an easy choice for them. This is not an easy path for them. So for them to be able to do this, to achieve their goal, they have got a lot of decisions to make. And I mean, to move from India to America, naturally there's going to be a lot of decisions to make. I mean, to me, that's general knowledge, but you're actually seeing it in the flower. In the flower image you've chosen, you can actually see that they have got a lot of decisions to make. This is not going to be easy for them. And it's going to really take them out of their comfort zone. So they're going to need a lot of support for this. Now, when we look at the flower itself, there's a lot of the heart in it, like the center of it. There's a lot in that. They're really putting their heart out there. And I mean, when we put our heart out there that far, it can, it's really quite what's the word? They're being quite vulnerable. you need to be really mindful of the words and the things that you're using to help support this family. Now, again, we'll go a little bit deeper because there's, I've got a couple of others. We'll go a little bit deeper, but you can see that they've got plenty of guides. Now, they've got guides in the back, it's very spiritual, a lot coming to the future. They're going to have a lot more support or guides coming in the future. Very, like this would be feminine, this would be more masculine. This is masculine, that's more feminine. So you've got plenty of guides there. And these are guides from the physical area. So these would be family members, very feminine there. That's still quite a feminine. Now, when I say feminine, again, I don't mean females. I mean people that are more nurturing, have that more, it was more of a feminine support or feminine guidance. So in this way, you want to be supporting the family as much as you can, but in the same token, it's not going to be easy either, because I can only imagine if your children decided to move to another country, and it's like, wow, there's so much going on and so much happening. But to me, it's very positive. We're looking at this flower, and again, this is the parent choosing it for the child, but you're really looking to the future. You're really looking to a stronger future for that child. Also, the format of this image is a landscape, which is suggesting there's a negative motivation behind it for a group purpose. So the negative motivation behind it might be that they're not getting what they need in that area. They're seeing a lot of the negative aspects in staying in that space, and can see and that is giving them the motivation to go forward, to look forward, to move forward. So there's two ways to motivate, as you know. There's a negative and there's a positive way. A positive way is where they can see a positive way is where they want to get something better. The negative way is where they can see that where they are isn't working for what they need, and so they have to move forward. And the majority of people will move forward in a negative manner, because when things are going well, we don't need to change it up. When things don't look like they're going well, we need to change it. And so that's that concept behind the landscape of the image. So again, when we look at it, and this week it is all about our direction and the STEM, how we're going to get there, our journey. There is a lot of decisions to make for these people, for these young people, and it's not going to be easy for them. The decisions are not going to be easy for them. Once they make that decision, however, their goals will definitely be blossoming, and we can see how open and how forward they are at that. So that is yours for your family. And I don't know if that's your son or your daughter, but hopefully, or maybe both, but hopefully that gives you some sort of clarity for it. This is where you're going to need to support them really right now on this decision-making area is where you really, really need to give them that support, and be accepting on what decision they make, because it's their decision. Whatever they make becomes the consequences that they will deal with. They can't turn around and go, oh, well, mum and dad made me do it, or mum and dad wanted me to do it. It's just supporting them so they can make their own decisions. And that's their path and their journey for this week. All right, so who else have I got? I hope that helps you. Who else have I got? I have got Belinda, I've done. Evan is number 13. Evan, where's number 13 for you? Again, it's all about number 13, Evan. Wait till I show you this one. Okay, this is a flower. I've got this up there because it's significant for me. When I was writing my book, Intuitive Flowers, Empowering Your Emotional Goals, and because Evan and I have connected because we both are authors, Evan has written a few books. I've only got the one at this stage. I've got 3 on the go. But this was when I'm a theory tester, and when I was testing my theories, this was the flower image I used to test my book. So what had happened was I went, okay, I'm writing this book. This is what I want to get an understanding of. Does it work? So I thought about my goal that I wanted, and it was about a business goal. So it was about my business. So this was the goal I wanted. And I went into a light meditation and went, okay, this is how I want to feel when I achieve this goal. What does that mean? And you get all the emotions, you get the understanding of it. Then you say, okay, if that flower, if my goal, my business goal was a flower, what would it look like? And the only colors I got were pink and white. So I had to Google pink and white flowers, and I knew it was round. So I had to Google pink and white flowers, and I can assure you there's a billion pink and white flowers that come up. Well, I didn't count them, but there was a lot. So I scrolled through all these flowers, and there was a couple of images I saved because I thought, oh, they sort of give me the right feeling. They were pink and white, and they were round, and you're starting to get a few of them. And then this image came up. When this image came up, I straight away got all the emotions came flooding back. So I knew that this was the right image. Now, what I tried to do then is change the image because I didn't want it that shape. I wanted it square. So I tried to change the image. As soon as I changed it, it naturally lost the feelings that I had. So I had to bring it back. So, Evan, this is your flower image that you have chosen for this week. Now, this week is all about the stem and the journey. So I can see with this flower image, I should have finished the story. What I got out of my flower image when I did this and I tested the theory, I'm very, very independent and I won't ask anyone for help. I'm learning to get better at that. But this image, because of the big round leaves, told me I needed to seek more guidance from feminine people. I needed that because their guidance, I needed to get the guidance from the feminine people. And that's when I went, okay, I need to work more with women. And that's how my business started to develop and grow. But for you, Evan, very similar in the context, but this week we're looking at our stem and the journey to get to where we want to go. So if this flower was your next book, if that's what this goal was, this flower was your next book, or it could be a relationship, whatever that goal is, the stem and the journey is hidden. So you aren't even aware that you're on that stem and the journey. It came out from the quagmire, but it is all hidden, and it's hidden with emotions and with water and emotions. So when we look at your journey this week, and we sort of go, well, your journey, we know it's there, but it's not so relevant for you this week. What is really relevant for you this week is the guidance that you're going to get with these beautiful big water lily leaves. Now, the guidance you're going to get is of a feminine nature. They're round, so we can look at that side. They're almost, some look almost heart-shaped. So you're going to get all that guidance and understanding. What I would suggest you do for your journey, because you've already got it there, you don't need to do that, but start to get an understanding of what, get the feedback you're getting. Now, the feedback you're getting from, say, Facebook posts, different things like that feedback that you're getting, have a look at the feminine aspect of that feedback that you're getting. So not necessarily just from females, but even from males that are more nurturing, or they're giving you a bit more power and a bit more understanding of that feminine nature. Get the understanding from that, Evan, because that is what is going to help you this week. Even though we're talking about the path and journey, your flower has that all hidden. It's all your path, your journey is all hidden. We know it's there, but it's hidden in all that emotions. So get that support, that understanding, the guidance from these beautiful big round leaves. A lot of them are already in your past. You already know them, and they're going forward with that one. Coming into the future, you've still got a little bit of an emotional situation happening here that you've got to deal with, but this is more of the physical, this is more of the spiritual up here, but you've also got another spiritual goal coming through up here as well, which you might not have been aware of. And I only just noticed that even after I've done my reading on this flower image. So we pick up different things. So yes, your journey this week, Evan, is engulfed in all that water and all that emotions. We can't see it. We know it's there, and we know that you've done it. We know that you've achieved it. So you don't need to worry about your path at this stage or your goals. You've gone through all the crap. You've got it. It's there. Your flower image is there. And yeah, you're going forward with that. So that is yours, Evan, for your flower reading for this week. Ooh, it's a little bit confusing when you've used it in a different way, that flower. So that's why I'm doing these. It's for me to get an understanding of it, because I want to put together a deck of cards for them. But I didn't want a regular deck of cards. I want you guys to choose the cards. Okay, Leah, this is yours. It's number 1, and this is very dramatic. So we're looking at the path and the journey. We got a very short path, very short path. This looks like a cut flower because it's not in its natural environment. So the path or the journey that you've had is not really attached to the ground. This path or journey probably isn't going to sustain you for very long. So you may need to have another look at it. Okay, focus on this with this goal, what this goal is. I'd be a little bit mindful of that. Whatever your goal is at the moment, in as far as picking number 1, Lee, I would be questioning it, because we know that this is a cut flower. This is a cut flower, which means it is not grounded. The goal is not grounded. The goal is not secure. It has to be supported in a vase and it has to be fed. So if that's the type of goal you're looking for, and that's fine for a short-term goal. If this was a short-term goal to achieve something, I would go, yep, that's fine, no worries. We know it's short-term. We know we don't have to be grounded. We know we can get into it. But if this was a longer-term goal, relationship goal, no, we're focusing on the wrong thing here. And we start to look at this flower, and we can see that, again, like it's not in its natural background. We can see we've still got the calyx that's still looking like it needs support. So you are trying to support this goal. And the other aspect is this flower is quite bruised. The petals, the attraction is quite bruised. So I would say there's a lot of bruise, a lot of pain still happening, and emotional situations happening in the attraction, and you're not really fully open to attract what you want. I would be saying you're not really on the right path for this one. Whatever this flower's about, it's not really the right path. It will be good for short term. We know a cut flower won't last for long, unless it's an everlasting daisy. So we know that this is not a long-term aspect. So I would say to you, Leah, just rethink it again, all right? Just have another rethink and just see if that's really where you want to go. So that's yours. I'm sorry, that wasn't very, very nice for you, but yeah. What else are we picking up? No, you just got to look at it again, Leah. You're just not on that right track for what you're thinking about. Like it's not right there. And I don't know what's right, but I know where you're going isn't quite right there. So go with that. All right, that is all the flower readings for today, because I've got to stop. I keep talking too much. Like, subscribe, share. Hope that helps. Would like, if you want to get your own personal flower reading, which I do on a video just for you. We go right through all the 16 elements. There's the link underneath if you want to do that. And otherwise, I will see you next Tuesday. Join into Intuitive Personal Development onto the Facebook group, and then you can get your own there. Ooh, it's very exciting. All right, I'm going to say bye for